In this next video, I want to tell you about a truly incredible experience we have in Mexico's Copper Canyon. And that's riding the zipline or tirolesa at the Parque de Aventura in Visadero. So stick around. Hey there, Ralph Velasco of the Continental Drifter, where I share simple but powerful tips designed to make your travels easier and more interesting and your photography even better. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Know that everything I talk about will be linked in the description below. All right, let's do this. Remember, drifters, life's too short not to travel. As of this video, I've been organizing and leading tours around the world for more than 12 years full time. One of my absolute favorite itineraries over the years has got to be the Mysteries of Mexico's Copper Canyon trip, where we take El Chepe, the one and only passenger train in all of Mexico, from the coastal town of Los Mochis all the way up to Creel, considered to be the gateway to Copper Canyon. It's about a 10-hour train ride, and the views are absolutely spectacular, and so are the photo opportunities. I was first introduced to Copper Canyon while on assignment to shoot the travel and cultural images for a cookbook on the regional cuisine of Mexico. The assignment was 35 days long and took us to more than 40 different locations around the entire country, and needless to say, it was a dream assignment and the experience of a lifetime. One portion of that trip had us spend about 8 days in Mexico's largest state, Chihuahua. We were assigned to a wonderful couple named Cristina and Federico, and they would act as our local guides, fixers, and translators, and they were simply out of this world. To this day, we remain very good friends and still work together. I used to live in Mexico City, and I'd been going to Mexico for over 40 years at this point. But even after seeing some of the country's finest locations, the one and only place I said that I wanted to bring a group back to was Copper Canyon. Of course, that doesn't mean that Mexico doesn't have other gorgeous places. It's one of the most beautiful and varied countries in the world and has an incredibly distinct culture and one of the world's undeniably great food cultures. In fact, in 2010, Mexico's cuisine made UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. What this means is that the United Nations is committed to protecting and preserving Mexico's culinary traditions for posterity. I'll certainly be doing other videos about Mexico's food, El Chepe, and Copper Canyon, including about the Tarahumara Indians in this remote part of Mexico, but those are going to have to wait for another day. Now, back to the reason for this video. First of all, there's an experience called the Zip Rider, which is considered to be the longest in the world at over 2,500 meters, or about 1.5 miles in length. Speeds of up to 135 kilometers per hour are reached. That's upwards of 80 miles per hour. For the record, as of this video, the cost of the Zip Rider is 1,000 pesos, or about US $50, but it's well worth it. But back to the tirolesa, which consists of 7 individual zip lines. The entire circuit is approximately 5 kilometers in length and includes having to traverse 2 suspension bridges, which even to someone with a very real fear of heights like me, are probably the scariest part of the whole experience, more so than hanging high above the canyon on the zip line. You're locked into the bridge by a very strong cable, but it definitely sways from side to side with every step. There are large gaps between the slats for your feet, and it's not a good idea to look down. There's a reasonable amount of up and down hiking between stations, much of it on loose gravel and stones. And it's important to note that at this point in the Copper Canyon, you're at almost 2,300 meters above sea level, or approximately 7,500 feet. So this activity is not for the faint of heart, or for those with any sort of mobility issues, although it's possible they can make accommodations for those who do have trouble walking. Here's a basic overview of the entire experience. Some of the runs are longer than others and at a higher altitude above the canyon floor. Because our hotel is situated on the canyon rim, we can even see one of the runs from our hotel room balconies and watch people zip on by throughout the day. The longest run, Zipline number 5 at 3,650 feet, is about 3/4 of a mile long and often requires 2 people in order for there to be enough weight to even get to the other side. Riding tandem like this can be quite an experience indeed. The cost of the tirolesa at last look is also about 1,000 pesos, or US $50 at current exchange rates. So here's some additional video of my experiences on the tirolesa over the years and with various groups of daring tour participants and other people I've met along the way. Needless to say, this experience is completely optional and everyone does it at their own risk and expense on our trips.
Wonderful, exhilarating for an old guy. Wow.
It's awesome. Rockstar awesome. So much fun. Thank you, Ralph.
Amazing. You need to try it to live it.
This is the coolest thing ever.
It's both terrifying and exhilarating all at the same time.
Of course, each person does have to sign a waiver before participating, and there is a fairly intense training period before the first run where one or more of the local guides who accompany each group will walk everyone through what to expect and how to be safe. Word of caution though, because the vast majority of people I've met doing the tirolesa in Copper Canyon have been Mexican nationals, the training has often been in Spanish only. So you do need to request that there be a translator or bring your own if you don't speak and understand Spanish. It's worth noting too that regular cameras are not allowed on the Zipline. And as a photographer, at first I was a bit miffed about this. But now, having done it at least 5 times, I can't agree more with this no camera policy. Not only is your camera in danger of getting dropped or damaged while ziplining, but you also need both hands for this activity and 100% concentration throughout. All the video you see of the zipline was made with my helmet-mounted GoPro camera or my smartphone, which always had to be tucked safely in a zippered pocket while on a run. But of course, in between, you can take it out and photograph or videotape whatever you like. And there was actually one time when one of the guides offered to take my iPhone and ride alongside me on a parallel line and videotape me. But needless to say, I was hanging on for dear life with both hands, just trying to get to the other side. Because on the Zip Rider, you're seated in a makeshift chair, hanging from the cable with your hands free, you may be able to use a selfie stick to get some video, but definitely clear that with the park employee helping you at the start of the ride. As I say at the beginning of all my trips, safety first, photography second. Okay, just a few final tips. Depending on the weather, you may want to wear less clothing than you think. You'll be expending some effort and you want to be comfortable. They have storage lockers where they dole out the equipment, so as always, I'd recommend layering and leaving what you don't use behind. As I mentioned above, you'll have to be completely hands-free. So, no backpacks, big purses, or cameras, just a mobile phone and possibly a small point-and-shoot camera may be allowed, as long as it has a good, safe strap. And remember, all instructions may be in Spanish. There's a fair amount of walking in between runs, but I found that it was mostly downhill. But make sure that you wear good, sturdy hiking shoes with very good ankle support. I'm not sure of the age restrictions, but I did see a number of younger kids ziplining, and they were probably 10 years old or so. But do ask at the park for details. I'd recommend wearing sunglasses and no hat because you'll be wearing a provided safety helmet. GoPros are okay. They have some helmets with GoPro mounts that you can request. Speaking of GoPros, have a large memory card and know that I went through an entire battery in the first 6 stations. So I'd recommend having at least one backup battery with you. Finally, Confirm your smartphone is fully charged so that you don't run out of juice during this experience, as I'm sure you'll want to capture it on video. And here's a link to a smartphone holder with strap that you may want to use in this or other precarious situations. All right, question of the day. Have you ever gone ziplining? Would you dare to do the zip rider? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed this video and our visit to Copper Canyon, Mexico. And do let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more like it. And give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, be sure to look around the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications so that you don't miss an episode. And do me a favor, share this channel with at least one other person who is a great traveler like you. Next, head on over to the continentaldrifter.co website for my latest free download. Join our Facebook group, follow me on the social media outlets, and remember, drifters, life's too short not to travel.